I don't know. I just can't believe it. I call it the miracle tank because I get in that tank and I do things that I possibly couldn't do outside the tank.
Our daughter says, "Oh, we have Pop back."
We came down for open house, and I was sort of optimistic about anybody helping me. Because I couldn't pick my feet up. I kept tripping and falling. My wife had to help me down off the curb. I had to pick my legs up to get into the car. And I was just questionable about whether I could even have treatment or not. But I've got some problems with my legs. I got neuropathy from the blood sugar. And on top of that, I've got neuropathy in the legs, and I got a breathing problem, COPD, and I've had back surgery, so that affects my legs. Before I first started, I was questionable. Once I got in the water and seen I could do things that I couldn't possibly do outside the water, because you'd got me on the treadmill and I couldn't do that. You'd give me other, like walking and turning, and when I would turn, felt like I was going to fall down. And I got in this tank, and you had me doing things that I just couldn't believe.
What did you want to achieve?
Well, first of all, I wanted to be able to pick my feet up. Because stepping off the curb was a big problem because my wife had to help me. I had to hang on to her to get off the curb.
You would stumble.
And in fact, I'd worked in the tank a little while, and you had me lifting my legs and doing things in the tank, and I forgot all about my wife hanging on to my legs, my arm. And I stepped off the curb out here and surprised myself because I was stepping high in the tank. I stepped at 2 feet out in the street, and I turned around and looked back, and I thought, I wonder if Jeremiah was watching. I said, I couldn't do that before.
It's pretty cool. You walked right off the curb and had no balance issues.
And I believe this treatment in the tank is helping with my mind working with my legs. Absolutely. Because once I got to doing my leg problem, I found that I forgot about things that I used to do, and here I was doing them. And at home, I was sitting in my recliner. I got a lift chair, and I try not to use it unless it's possible. But I was having trouble getting out of that lift chair, and after I started this treatment, I just jumped up, and my wife said, "Did you see that? He got out of there by himself." And my daughter was sitting in the other chair, and she said, "I can't believe that." And
he has a lot more strength in his legs now.
And now,
and confidence.
When I get in the car, I think about it often, because before I was lifting my legs and pushing my legs in, and now I just sit down on the seat and swing my legs in without no problem.
He does.
And this is part of the treatment that I've been getting now. I don't know. I just can't believe it. I call it the miracle tank because I get in that tank and I do things that I possibly couldn't do outside the tank. Before, I was walking about half a block, and my wife would have to go get the car and come and get me because I couldn't finish my walk. And when we go on an outing, it was embarrassing because we couldn't walk and do things anymore. And now, doing this treatment, I'm walking up to sometimes 1.5 miles. And I surprise myself sometimes because I just can't believe that I'm doing it again.
We live very close to a pond, and he's walked down there and sat down and rested just a little bit, maybe 3 or 4 minutes, and he's ready to go. First time he went, he could only walk to Lakeview Avenue and back, which is only like 2 or 3 blocks away. We went back. So the next time we walked down to the lake, sat there and just enjoyed the weather and the ducks, and then walked back. Well, then the next time we went, now it's 3 or 4 days in between all this, the next time we went back, he went around the pond with me, which is, I believe, 1/4 mile. And he would stop at each bench and sit down and just kind of catch his
I
breath
stopped
a little.
twice.
Well, maybe there's only 2 benches, so. So, he was trying to pace himself, but, he went all the way around there, and then we did rest and then walked back home because it's like 3 blocks, I believe, from our house.
Wow.
I forgot to tell you that, an 80-year-old patient, it's surprising to accomplish what I have so far.
Confidence is a big thing.
For the only length of time that I've been doing it.
So, what would you say about your fear of falling? Because you reported when you came in, you felt very unsteady. Your wife was helping you up and down curbs. You were always looking for ramps. You would avoid doing certain things because you didn't feel confident in it. How has that changed?
Oh, big time. Like I said, I stepped off that curb out there, surprised myself.
Well, he has a little work he does in the back, and he had fallen twice.
A
I'm
number
sure,
of times before
in the
I come
backyard, and then got himself back up just because he wasn't picking his feet up,
Yeah.
and he just could not maneuver back
And have
there.
you fallen since you started the treatment here?
No, not even once.
And have you had any fear of falling since you started here?
No, in fact, I've got my confidence back.
Yeah, he feels a lot better about it.
Excellent. Now tell me a little bit about your ankles. I know you said your left ankle was bothering you a lot. You were having swelling. Tell me how that's changed.
My left ankle has bothered me ever since I was in my, I'd say probably 10 or 12 years old. I twisted my ankle and it's bothered me ever since. And, we'd go for walks and my ankle would give me problems. The stretching and exercise that we've been doing has improved that. I am not bothered with the ankle hurting when I go for walks now.
The swelling is down.
The
in his
swelling
ankles,
has gone
too.
almost completely out of my ankles, both of them. And my wife hasn't complained about the swelling. She used to complain every night, look at your ankles, you better get your feet up.
Get those feet up.
And now she hasn't mentioned it in 2 weeks.
At least. We're on a roll.
I love it.
Oh, we've gotten where we go out on weekends now and do outings, and I'm able to complete the whole journey without failing. I sit down once in a while if I get tired. I still get the COPD, but my COPD has improved much better since I started this. The pushing in the tank has built up my breathing problem, and
Our daughter says, "Oh, we have pop back." We make it a point at our age to try to go and do something fun at least once a month, and that includes all day. So we've been a couple of times down to Dade City to festivals. We went to the one this past weekend in our town of Winter Garden, and he was able to walk on those cobble streets, pick his feet up, get on curbs. We just enjoyed it immensely. So he feels good about having so much more confidence now.
I did
He
the whole
does.
journey from one end of town to the other and all the way down from the parking lot.
So you'd say the magic tank has worked for you.
And a magic tank, it's a miracle tank.
Well, and we know too that this doesn't happen overnight. You can't go down and do one thing of rehab, walking around a little bit, walking in some water one day and be able to go out the next weekend. You've got to stay at it. And I know he comes 2 or 3 times a week. And he's diligent about it. He looks forward to it. And you have to do it it's with anything in life. If you want to be better at something, you have got to do it and stay with it.